everyone, welcome back to Money Makes Sense, where we make money make sense for you. Today we're going to be walking you through an example budget. We're going to be using a hypothetical situation to show you what making your own budget could actually look like using our own budgeting template. We have made a hypothetical scenario and we're going to use the details of teenager Jaden Miller to help show you how to fill it out. So use this worksheet as a reference for the data in the video. The learning target for today is going to be that you can create a budget using your financial information. If you want to follow along, all of these details are linked in the description, and if not, let's get started. This is going to be Jaden Miller's monthly budget for June of 2025. Some quick background info: he works part-time at a smoothie shop, he earns $12 an hour and works 15 hours per week, and his estimated monthly income is $720 before taxes. You can go to projected monthly income, income one, and we'll just type in 720. Now that we've entered his income, we have to enter his expenses. So he's planning on spending $50 on housing. So we come over to housing. We could do mortgage or rent, $50. Cable will be $20. And you can see how everything updates automatically just as you go on. Groceries, Jaden predicts $100. So that's over here in food. Oops. 100. Dining out will be $50. You can also enter that right below. Entertainment. So his music subscription is going to be $10. Let's make our way over to entertainment. Music platforms, $10. Movies, Jaden is estimating spending $15. There it is. And video games, which will go under others since we don't have an exact thing. And as a matter of fact, we can even type in here, video games. We've left a few spaces for you to just tailor, adjust it to however you need to make it based on your personal unique expenses. For budgeting, Jaden has projected actually $0, but he does spend some money on this later in the month. We'll come back to that though. You can go over to transportation. For bus fare, he's estimating $30. Bus fare, $30. Personal care, $20 for a haircut. There we go. Clothing, he's projecting $40. Not everything, again, has to be filled out depending on what kind of person you are, what your interests are. You can tailor it to your own needs. For savings, Jaden has estimated to save $50 this month for his savings account, so we can go ahead and put that right there. Pets, let's go over to cat food. So Jaden has a cat. He will spend $15 on cat food this month, and that's about it. So currently, this looks pretty good. His estimated income is $720. He's only planning to spend $320, which is a pretty good amount for now. We see that Jaden has actually estimated to earn $720 and his projected expenses amount to $400. That means there's actually a $320 difference between what he projects to earn and how much he projects to spend. So this can be helpful for emergencies, just leaving a little bit of money just to have some flexibility there. But now is the fun part. We actually have to enter his actual costs. So we go back from the top. Housing, Jaden actually ends up spending $65. So $15 more than he had initially estimated. Not too bad. So that puts the difference at $15, as you can see right here. For cable, he actually spends $35 rather than just $20. So again, a $15 difference there. Food. So he spends $85 on groceries rather than $100. He saves a little bit on there, but dining out rather than just $50, he ends up spending $95. Clearly in every category, there's a bit of a difference. And what I would advise Jaden is actually throughout the month to go back and make sure to update those values to make sure that he's more or less going to end up near his estimate. You want to try to make it as accurate as you can. After all, it is a plan for your future. Let's move on to entertainment now. So he does end up spending exactly $10 on a music subscription. He ends up spending $25 on movies and video games. So we're coming back to this. He initially hadn't planned for video games, but he ended up dropping $40. For transportation, his bus fare amounts to $40. And his friend needed some gas money. That goes under other. That's another $15 that Jaden spent. Some emergencies occur. You have to be able to prepare for those. That's exactly why it's good to have a little bit of money left over from your projected income. Now, personal care, he spent exactly $20 on a haircut, but he spent $60 on clothing. So that's a $20 too much difference. Now, here's a bit of a kicker. So Jaden, he earns $720 a month, but that's before taxes. We have to remember that there are deductions. So there's Social Security, federal income tax, state income tax, Medicare, and just other common deductions that are taken out by his employer as he receives his paycheck. So unfortunately for Jaden, a $55 amount will be deducted from his paycheck. that he didn't account for in his budget. So now something super interesting is that you always want to use the net pay from your pay stub when you're budgeting. This is a common error when you're beginning. Just make sure to look out for that. Taxes, we can just put it all under federal. That's okay for now. It does differ a little bit on your actual pay stub. Even when you're filling it out, you would prefer to just put in all of the net income, and you won't have to worry about taxes later on when you're budgeting and you're reviewing your budget. But if there's some surprise, you can just easily put it there. So there is a $55 amount right there. Savings, he only saves about $20, so that is $30 less than what he expected, which is not ideal. Pets, $15 for cat food, and a cat toy he ends up buying, which he had not planned for, so that leaves a little bit more. What actually happened? Well, let's take a look. His total projected cost was $400, his total actual cost was $590, his total difference was $190. So clearly there are discrepancies, but the good thing is that for next month, this was for June, for July, Jaden will be able to account for that. Using these figures, he'll have really accurate, hopefully, estimates for next month, so his budget can be a whole lot closer, and he'll get closer and closer to making a really clear and accurate picture of his month-to-month finances. All right, and finally, instead of doing the taxes, what we can actually do is we'll put a 0 here, and in actual monthly income, we can go like this. We'll go 720, so we'll click on this cell minus the $55 in taxes. Anyway, we get the same thing, but this is just a little more accurate for the final sums. So we see that instead of $320, Jaden has an actual balance of $130. The good news is that he can go ahead and save this money. The bad news is that he was initially going to save $190 more, but that's usually how it is when you start off budgeting. It's not the most accurate since this is only his first month. He still did a good job. But now you're asking, I heard about the 50-30-20 rule, right? So how can I actually use that rule for my own budget? This is how. So Jaden only earns $665 this month, and what I would advise him to do next month is to kind of revamp his plan as a whole. So instead of going individually expense by expense, he should group them into needs, wants, and savings. So we can go right here, needs, wants, savings. His needs, will want it to be his actual income divided by 2 for 50%. His wants, will want it to be his actual income divided by 10 times 3 because it's 30%, or you could just do times 0.3, whatever, that's also easy. In his savings, we can do equals actual income times 0.2, just makes it easier that way. So these are the figures that we want to pay attention to. Obviously, there was a little bit of discrepancies between what Jaden had planned and where he actually was at the end of the month, but overall it wasn't too bad. But going forward, he can implement this strategy, 50-30-20, to make a really clear picture of his finances and ensure that he's growing over the long run. So again, we can put $332.50, that's 50% of his actual income, to needs, $199.50, that's 30% of his income, to wants, and $133 to savings. So that gives a super clear picture, super consistent, and he can just plan around those. And again, try to minimize the discrepancy between his estimates that fit under these and his actual spending. Now that I've actually walked you through an example budget, I'm going to encourage you to take this information, this knowledge from this spreadsheet, this video, and apply it with your own financial information to your personal situation. So you can also make a super accurate budget, try to use a 50-30-20 rule if you can. And remember, even if you're not getting those exact figures, those exact estimates, try your best to get close to them, but it's not that easy. You can clearly see that Jaden had differences between his estimated and his actual costs, but at the end of the day, that's okay. You will get better month by month, and eventually you'll be getting super close to what your real finances are. Thank you so much for listening to me today, and I hope this helps you out on your budgeting journey, and I'll see you, as always, in the next one.